Pakistan squared off with each other in the first of their T20 series. The first match was played in Christchurch in New Zealand, and it was a beautiful setting. The It was a full packed house. Obviously, New Zealand doing very well in the recently finished Champions Trophy, and that obviously has a lot of rub off effect on the audiences over there. Um, Beautiful setting of a ground. The wicket seemed bouncy, and the overhead conditions you could expect would have favored the seam bowlers, and they did. There was plenty of seam, there was plenty of bounce and swing on offer. And when Pakistan went in first to bat, you knew that they had a challenge on their hands. How bad that challenge was kind of understated, to say the least. So just a heads up into what's gone into this series. Basically, New Zealand are without five of their top players, who I guess would have walked into their side any day of the week. Rachin Ravindra is not there. I guess Kane Williamson is not there, but not because he's in the IPL, for any other reason. Devon Conway is not there. Their captain, Mitchell Santner, is not there. And Lockie Ferguson is not there. So I guess four of these guys would have walked into the team any day of the week, and they're not there because they're on IPL duty. Pakistan, on the other hand, had a full strength team. When I say full strength, I guess you got to take it with a pinch of salt, because they decided to try out a completely new team. I guess there's only maybe 3 or 4 names that we would have heard of before. I guess a few of them did play before, but not. It's a pretty much new team, and there's many ways of taking a band-aid out, and I guess this way of taking the band-aid out, which Pakistan has employed, of just ripping it off and throwing caution to the wind, and just like throwing them into the deep end of the pool and seeing if they survive. I'm not sure if that's the best approach, but hey, it's Pakistan and that's what they've done. So what was the result? The result was, in the face of some consistent but not all that threatening New Zealand bowling, Pakistan found themselves at a desperate situation of 3 wickets down for, I think, 2 runs on the board. I think the first boundary that came also was pretty much because the ball kind of fell short of a diving gully fielder or diving slip fielder, and it wasn't until, I think, the 7th or the 8th over that a meaningful shot was hit. And had it not been for the experienced duo in the middle order of Kushdil Shah and the captain Salman Agha, I really don't think Pakistan would have even managed this 90 runs that they've got. By the way, this 90 that was it 90? Yeah, was this 90 that they got, 91 that they got, was their 3rd lowest score in New Zealand, and I think their 4th lowest score overall in T20. So it really was something, and it really wasn't the fact that they were scoring low or something. I think it was just miserable to watch the way they barely made contact with the ball. And even if they did, it was a miracle that the ball didn't go to hand almost every single time a ball was bowled. So, sure, subcontinent teams don't get to face a swinging ball very often, but these are international players you're talking about. This is a team that is supposed to represent Pakistan, right? And I'm sure there's better ways of playing. I don't know if there are better players, but definitely there are better ways of playing. So the new mantra of T20 seems to be attack, 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 and I get it. But at the same time, if you're losing a couple of wickets on the other end, it makes sense for you to play out at least 1 over without attacking. So I don't know how many of those wickets fell because they were out bowled by the bowler. It almost fell as if, I don't want to say reckless, but definitely not the right approach. They should have just absorbed the pressure a little bit and accelerate towards the end. And because of the fact that they lost so many wickets up front, there was so much of pressure on the middle order to perform. And though they did stitch a decent partnership together, once they fell out, it was just a matter of time before Pakistan folded, and that's exactly what happened. Going back to a few of the details, the openers basically was an old hand in the form of Mohammad Harris and Hassan Nawaz. and both of them were out for zero. Uh, both of them pretty horribly out for zero. No clue on how to play the ball, while Mohammad Harris basically got nicked behind in a beautiful, diving catch by the wicket keeper. Hassan Nawaz basically went for a wild shot, and what was supposed to go to long on, or ended up going to third man. The third to go was Irfan Khan once again. Beautiful bowling by Jamieson. You'd expect that kind of bowling. He's a tall guy, gets good bounce. So you'd expect someone to be able to, be able to ride the bounce, be able to understand that the swing is coming, be able to adjust for the swing and not go for your cover drives, play straight in the V, not try to play so square, nudge for singles, nothing of that sort. They knew that once the pace bowlers went off, the spinners would come in and they could capitalize then. But nope, they had to hit the pace bowlers and they had to give up their wickets. And before you knew it, it was 3 for 1. That's pretty shocking. And 4 for 11 very soon. And the fourth one to go was actually pretty disappointing. It was one of my favorite guys. He's Shadab Khan, actually. And I'm glad, first of all, Shadab came into the team, because there was a time when, he wasn't part of the team, especially in the Champions Trophy, where I really felt he should have been part of the team. But anyway, so Shadab Khan getting out was really kind of bad, because, you'd expect one of your most seasoned pros to weigh it out, and a very irresponsible shot, let me put it that way. So basically trying to break free and just slashes it, and there's a fielder, of course, who's going to take a fantastic diving catch, and that's pretty much how it goes in the gully region. And if it's not for the flying Kiwi Glenn Phillips, I guess it's somebody else. And this time Robinson takes a fantastic catch, diving very, very Glenn Phillips style in the gully region to back off Shadab Khan. And after this period, you'd hoped that that there would be some sanity, and Pakistan would not just collapse further. And hopefully that happened in the form of a nice partnership between Kushdil Shah and Salman Agha, the captain. Although I want to say, I think Kushdil Shah was dropped. So had that been caught, it would have been utter and complete disaster. But thankfully, to save Pakistan the blushes, that was not the case. And there was a decent partnership that came up. And so I think they went on till the 9th or the 10th over. And when the spinners did come on to bowl, that's when they started, capitalizing on the bowling, and a couple of lusty blows, big sixes by both Kushdil Shah and by Salman Agha, kind of got them through. But then when the time came for them to actually kind of get a step on, get a move on, I guess that's when Salman Agha decided to reverse sweep. I don't understand this concept of reverse sweeps. So if a player is good enough to clear the boundary consistently playing down the ground, why do you want to go for a reverse sweep? I really want to know the stats on how successful any of these reverse sweeps and scoop shots are, because I always feel invariably batsmen are getting out playing those shots rather than scoring runs playing those shots. But anyway, so Ish Sodhi comes on to ball his second over after getting hit for, I think, 14 runs or something in the first over. And the thought was right. He wanted to hit it behind square, but it kind of went a little bit too square. And it was a very good running catch, actually, by the older wicket keeper, which is Tim Seifert, if I'm not wrong. And he's the one who actually put down the catch earlier. So a pretty basic chance. So good thing that he held on to this one. And the moment this wicket fell down of Salman Agha, almost immediately, 1 over later, the other well-set batsman, who was Kushdil Shah, he also fell. And Kushdil Shah, again, it was really like a nothing shot. I mean, if you are really 64 for 5 at that time, why would you want to play such a high-risk shot? I mean, basically, you're playing it in the 13th over. There's 7 overs left in front of you. There's barely any batsmen left, right? You're the last of the players. You'd think that as a senior member, in a team who's kind of a new look team, you'd want to take up a little bit more responsibility. You'd want to take it slow. Nope. He went for the glory shot, and sure enough, it was a straightforward catch. So that was pretty disappointing. And after that, Abdul Samad, Jahanat Khan, Abrar Ahmed. I mean, they're not just are they new to the whole thing, they are bowlers actually who I guess can hold a bat, and Shaheen Shah Afridi was the only decent guy who had a reputation of scoring runs, but even he failed. So, without even utilizing their entire quota of 20 overs, in the 19th over, Pakistan's inning just about folded at 90 runs. So, I guess you can say they had a run rate of 5. But two things that were gravely costly, I think, going too hard up front, almost on a brainless level, to get to 11 runs for 4 wickets is ridiculous. Then you had your three most experienced players, who is Shadab Khan, Kushdil Shah, and your captain Salman Agha, getting out at times when they really should not have. They should have gone for a little bit more calculated risks and try to bat out the 20 overs. And it's okay if you don't score 190 or 170. It's even a 130 or a 140 would have been fine. But nope, they wanted to go for the glory shots, and they ended up getting all out for 90. From a bowling point of view, in those kind of conditions, it was but obvious that Kyle Jamieson would be amazing. His height, he was out on injury for I think most of last year, if I'm not wrong. And now that he's come back, I think I've mentioned this before too, that he's one of actually my favorite guys because of the height he has, and it's a very smooth action, and the bounce that he gets. So unlike other Australian players who always get the bounce, I think this guy not only gets the bounce, but he actually pitches the ball higher up. So when someone who is so tall is pitching the ball up to you and then bouncing it, it becomes very hard to play it, because when the ball is pitched up, not only is it swinging, and because of his height, it's bouncing up. So it's a very, very tough thing to do. Of course, there were better ways to play him, but his figures of 4 overs, 3 wickets, and 8 runs is quite flattering, but nonetheless deserved his man of the match award. And you had a bunch of new guys. I mean, two new guys at least. You had Jacob Duffy and Zachary Folks. This is not their first time playing, but they're definitely new into the whole circuit. Of course, you had your Michael Bracewell, who, by the way, is the captain of New Zealand, who played very well in the Champions Trophy, bowls a decent spin, very good bat down the order, got signed up for big bucks at the 100, by the way, recently. £200,000 or something of that sort. But anyway, I'm surprised actually he's playing. I thought he would have been lapped up by one of the IPL teams, but I guess it's not to be. So anyway, Michael Bracewell bowled well, but unfortunately he actually took quite a lot of sticks. So he's the one who actually got hit by in the middle overs, and along with Ish Sodhi, who had respectable figures of 4 overs, 2 for 27. And mind you, out of the 4 overs, 27, the first over went for 14 runs. That was quite a good comeback from his side also. When the bowling started from Pakistan side, I mean, there really isn't much to say. You'd only hope that Shaheen Shah Afridi would be able to get the kind of swing that the New Zealand bowlers were getting. But there's always a problem when South Asian teams go to Australia, New Zealand, or England. Very often you'll find that the same pitch that has assisted their bowlers so much doesn't assist the South Asian bowlers that much. And you know why? I'll tell you why, and it's pretty clear from the way the Pakistani bowlers bowled, is that the moment you see a pitch with carry and bounce, that comes to the wicketkeeper, chest high or, into your upper rib cage and stuff, I feel that the bowlers always get carried away and they want to bowl it a little bit shorter than normal. So by bowling a little bit shorter, you are getting your bounce, but that is the bounce that those batsmen are used to. And you could see square cuts, pulls, hooks, they were all on display over there. And I think the only two balls that kind of troubled the batsmen were the balls that were pitched up and they gave it a chance to swing, which just wasn't enough, actually, to be honest. So this was my first look at the Pakistani bowler called Muhammad Ali. Fine bowler, I think, really fast release. But every time he releases the ball, he seems to be like shouting. So which is kind of weird and unsettling. But anyway, that's the way it is. Jahanat Khan was very disappointing. He had just the 1 over, 16 runs. I felt he did bowl pretty fast. It was kind of a whippy action. My first look at him too, but again, 16 runs for 1 over was a bit too much. Abrar Ahmed, your spinner, and Shadab Khan, your other spinner. Shadab Khan, once again, disappointing, no flight, no guile. I guess there was very little spin on offer, and the only wicket to fall was basically out of a dusra. It kind of kept low and took the bottom edge of Seifert's bat. So talking about the batting from New Zealand side, Tim Seifert, Finn Allen, and Tim Robinson. It was mainly Seifert all the way. I think it came to a point where he was almost 25 or 30 runs in before his partner Finn Allen hit the first boundary. In fact, there was a heavy percentage of balls, in fact, faced by Seifert compared to Allen. And no, Seifert's an old hand actually. I don't think he would have got this chance to play this match had the regular, openers been there, Devon Conway and Rachin Ravindra. But I guess they're not there, and he tried to make the most of his opportunity. And I remember Seifert, and he was a very, all wicket keepers usually are very cheeky little players. But Seifert had some nice power hitting. He was able to place the ball here and there, and there was, of course, that scoop, the shot behind third man. It was a fantastic shot that he kind of hit off balance that went over covers. That was also pretty good. But overall, you could say it was pretty much a non-contest, and New Zealand eventually chased down the whole total in 10 overs with only a one-wicket loss. So again, just like if the batting was completely inexperienced and toothless, the Pakistani batting was inexperienced and toothless. The Pakistani bowling, I'm afraid, was pretty much in the same category. So overall, an extremely forgetful outing for Pakistan, and you'd only hope that the next match they would play with a little bit more application and a little bit more control. Be aggressive, be proactive, but you should also be a little bit more sensible in the way you approach T20 cricket.